Alright, well hello, welcome back. We're going to be testing the Tomshoo TWIG wood stove. It's going to be a gear test review, first impression video. Haven't used this actually camping yet, but we're going to have an unboxing, and then we're going to go out back in my backyard here at the house and make sure it works properly and make sure it'll actually boil water. This actually will also use solid fuel. It has two different setups that you can do, and we'll put both to the test and see how good it boils water, how it handles a little bit of wind, and how the consumption of wood is. So if you're interested in seeing the Tomshoo wood stove, stay tuned. So you can see I did actually purchase this on Amazon with my own money. I'm not sponsored, not affiliated any way, shape, or form. This is the actual Amazon website. Here's a close-up on the card where it shows you can do a fire stove, solidified alcohol. You have two options. Alright, so let's get unboxing. So when this arrived to me, this was actually already damaged. So anxious to see what it looks like on the inside. Let's open the box properly because I'm never going to use the box again. So it comes in a nice stuff sack. Sort of feels like the stuff sack that the Totes pots come in, if you ever have a Totes pot. Sort of the same stuff sack. I actually don't own a Totes pot, but I know people that do. So, interesting, nice, seems good quality. No rips, no loose strings, nothing. Pretty good quality. Alright, so let's open this up, see what we got. So it comes with a little grill that goes on top. Alright, so this is the ash catcher, which you can also use as the solid fuel holder. And then this is the core to the unit. Well, maybe that's the solid fuel holder. Maybe I'm wrong. Alright, so this can be assembled in two different manners. It depends on if you're using this as a fire stove or a solidified alcohol stove. We're going to set it up for the fire stove, and then later on when we're outside, we'll set it up for the solidified alcohol. Okay. So this comes with a little grill, and this is one of the things that drove me to buy this one, is because I can use this grill on my MSR Dragonfly stove. The Dragonfly has a really wide pot holders on it, and you can't adjust them, they're unadjustable. So this would be perfect for just setting on top of that and to set a smaller mug or pot that wouldn't normally fit on there. But I thought this was cool because it came with it, one, and you can also use it as a grill grate for this. But I will be honest, this seems really flimsy. You can just see the way it's flexing. Doesn't seem like it's real sturdy at all. There's already a couple bent pieces on it. Not too impressed with that. So the cool thing about this unit is it has handles. So after you have this lit, you can actually use the base, everything holds together, and you can pick it up with the handles and move it to a different location. Start with the ash catcher. That goes in the bottom. Okay, then we're going to go to this. And if you're wondering, yes, I am using the instructions because I've never set this up before. After that, this sits in there. That is your actual thing that holds your twigs and everything in it. Then this is the top lip. It has a hole for you to feed it. And then you have your pot stands. And you basically just make an X. They have a little groove in the middle. They fit right on. Somehow. There we go. I mean, all in all, sturdy. Very sturdy. Just put a pot on it. You can just put a pot right on this. And then if you wanted to use the grill grate, there's a couple things you can do. I believe you can, nope, doesn't fit. So you have to put it on top. So you put your grill grate right over top here, and you could cook like a burger straight on the grill grate. Hot dog, if you're careful, I'd be afraid of it rolling off personally, but like I said, I mainly seen this, thought it was cool, I could use it on my MSR. I don't think I'd be using it on this, but that's my preference. What's nice is, if you could see, you have a really wide hole to fill it with, so if you have a pot, let's pretend this is my pot, you have adequate space to put twigs down in there. You're not having to move your pot every time and put a twig in. I've seen many ones like that. But overall, the quality of this is awesome. I don't see no bends, I don't see no sharp edges. Everything is pretty much as advertised. The handle, like I said, is nice. You can literally lift it right up. And your fire would still be contained inside of there in that bottom. Obviously the ash cup doesn't come with it, but who cares? You could always just pick that up and move it separately. It's not, shouldn't be that hot. But what's nice about this is, another thing I like is, with that ash cup there, your ashes fall through, you can actually cook on a table with this. So I have a Trekology table. You can actually use that as a base for this if you don't have a stump, a rock, something along those lines, which is nice as well. So overall, first impressions are good. I'm not going to give my ruling on it until we see how it works. So let's get out back and fire her up, see what she does. All right, so we're outside in the backyard. We're gonna go ahead and light the Tomshoo wood stove here. First things first, that's the solid fuel holder. I'm not gonna really test out the grill grate. I mean, it's a grill grate. I'll give a review on it later once I use it with the MSR. Like I said, I'm probably not gonna use it with this, so no point in testing it out with it. Here's the ash catcher. I'll put that down. Now, if you notice, I'm using my Trekology camping table. It has like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like elastic bungee cord through this part and this part. I'm putting the stove in the middle. That way, if it does happen to get hot underneath, it's not going to break my table. We'll test how hot the table actually gets. I'm curious to see that, because if it gets too hot, I'm not going to want to use it on this. Ideally, I'd like to, though. Because there are some places where I go camping that I don't have stumps available to actually cook on. So let's load this now. I have several different piles here of sticks. I got small ones like this, and I got a couple decent sized large ones. I don't know how much this is going to use. This is my very first time using a wood stove. Okay, but measuring efficiency of it, you know, the easy to use factor, that's I don't need to be a professional at wood stoves to tell you that. To start it, I'm lucky. I have a whole bunch of this tall grass that's dead around my yard. So I grabbed a whole bunch of fibers from that, breaking it up a little bit here. We're gonna stick her in. I had thought about removing this top piece, and I'm going to when I load it, but after I light it, before I actually light it, I'm going to put it on, because the flames coming out, I imagine, will make it pretty hard for you to get that on when it's burning. And I don't really feel like fighting flames today. So we got that in there. What I'll do is, I got my micro torch. I typically carry a smaller version of this with me in the woods, along with 2 Bic lighters, with also a fire steel. I like to have multiple methods of lighting fires out there. I never want to have to worry about it. But for today's purposes, we're going to be using the micro torch. All right, guys. So I wanted to get you a close up here. We're going to light her up, start feeding her some sticks. That tall grass just burns so good. Burns really fast. Maybe a problem. Mason, would you mind getting me some more of that tall grass, please? We need to get a lot more to get this lit. And see, now I'm not going to cut this out of my video for 2 reasons. Here, you can hand it to me, Mason. Thank you. It's my son Mason I'm talking to, by the way, but because you need to see exactly how hard it is to get it lit or how easy it is. Now, it's easy to light it. It is, really. I didn't have enough starter in there, and I didn't load it properly. So learn from my mistakes. I'm actually going to even take this off, I think. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that top off. I'm going to put this back on here, okay? And set this whole thing aside. And then once it's actually lit, I'll be able to maneuver this back on here again. And it'll be perfect. That's how I'm going to do it. Whether that's how you're supposed to, don't know. But that's how I'm doing it today. All right, we should get some decent, should catch off of this. So see, we failed again. It did not light. So that's a problem. I've watched several people light twig stoves before, and it's been, oh, immediate. Let me show you, the wood's dry. I've got it off of limbs that have fallen off of trees that have been elevated off the ground. Didn't rain in the last 2 days here, so it's not the twigs. It is definitely the way I'm building this. So what I'm going to do, the nice thing, the handle, I'm going to literally take it and I'm going to dump it off to the side.
Here we go.
Okay, so having the handle is awesome. Handle's definitely awesome. So I'm gonna get a whole bunch more of this tall grass, shove in here, put a whole bunch of sticks on top of it, and let's see if that works. I'll bring you back in a couple minutes here. All right, so I got a whole bundle here. I'm going to shove the sticks in this.
That is a lot of sticks.
All right, now I'm going to try something different. We're going to actually lift this up, and I'm going to try lighting it from the bottom, because you can lift it.
I see smoke coming up out of there. Don't worry. I don't see any fire on the top yet, though.
All right, well, we're just going to go from the top because the bottom doesn't work. Here we go.
It's going towards me.
So my observation is this. If you're not going to use any kind of accelerant to get this started, when I say accelerant, I mean, I already know the way I'm going to use this. I have little round solid fuel cubes about this big, about that big there, and they're made by Conklin. And I can get them for literally $1.50 for like 20 of them. I'm going to use those to start this every time I use it. So for me, starting it isn't going to be a big deal. But for the purpose of the wood stove review, I wanted to use it without any accelerant to see exactly how hard it is to get this thing going. And as you've seen, it took me a couple tries. But loading it totally full of any kind of a fuel that's going to burn, a dry grass, leaves possibly, and then putting sticks intertwined with it, it's going to start. So you just got to get a lot of a good base of an easy burning fuel in there, such as leaves, dry grass in my case. And as you see, the sticks are caught in there. We're at the stage now though where I could probably slip this on there. Yep, perfect. I'm going to fill it with a bunch of these little sticks and put in a couple big ones, and then we're going to boil 12 ounces of water and see how long it takes to actually boil them. Okay, so I'm going to throw in a couple big ones, one real big one here we're going to toss in. All right. So we use the lid for both boils. I have the Stanley cook set. This is the one you could get for like 15 bucks off Amazon. If you don't know about it, highly recommend it. I'll do a separate review on this. It'll be very short because there's not much to talk about. It's just a great product. Okay, so I'm going to put 12 ounces in here. There we go, right to the line. Let's get the lid on and let's get her going. Oh, we got our boil. Let me come around and show you here. There we go. So I'll mark the video. And I'm going to go ahead and let this cool. I'll put the time up on the screen for you. And we're going to go to solid fuel. Alright guys, so I let the pot totally cool off. So let's just do one observance here. Look how dirty this pot is. It's covered in black stuff. Okay? Let me grab a piece of paper towel here. I'll show you exactly. So you got to keep in mind when you're cooking on a wood stove, you're going to get soot. Maybe it's the way that I did it. Maybe it's just a sheer fact. I think it's a fact of it. I don't think it's the way I did it. But, I mean, you can clean up your pot if you really want to. But this is one that I'm going to use on a fire, on a wood stove all the time. So it doesn't matter all that much to me. I just don't want to get it on the other stuff in my bag. So I'll probably give it a good rinse when I get inside. But, I mean, you can see what came off of this. Here is the solid fuel tray. We're going to take off these, insert this, so there's the solid fuel setup. Now, I have S-bit solid fuel wafers here. We're going to set one of the wafers right on the pan. And I'm going to light it up for you. And she's lit. Pot has completely cooled. This was completely cool. I'm going to fill this again to 12 ounces. And let's see how long she takes to boil. So one of the things I just noticed that could be an issue, my solid fuel rectangle in there slid over to this side. I mean, I have this almost level. It's not perfect, but it's almost level. I don't like the fact that it slid like that. I mean, it's still getting heat, believe me, you can feel it. But it's much hotter, obviously, over here. See if that has anything to do with how it boils. So that's it. That solid fuel cube is all burned out. And as you see, there's no rolling boil there. It's close. It's steaming. But there isn't any. Let me get you a better view here. You got bubbles. No rolling boil. None at all. So as you've seen, with solid fuel, we could not get a boil at all. Wish I could tell you I'm surprised, but I'm not. That's my experience. Now, I've watched several people, they get a boil every time. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. If you know in the comments, any suggestions, let me know. I mean, this only has holes going around, and the cup sits above those holes. So I mean, there's air coming in, but the wind should not affect it that much, and it didn't. It had a little bit of effect, but not that much. I'm not sure what better of a windscreen you can have. It's sort of frustrating. I guess one of the other things you could do, and I thought about this while I was filming this whole top piece, which by the way is already cooled off, you could lift this off. That's really all you need right there to run solid fuel. This here you don't even need. So the ash thing you don't really need. You don't need the fire bin. You don't need the double wall. If you wanted to now, you could set this down and put this around it for an extra windscreen. But at that rate, if you're looking for just taking solid fuel, you're looking for the lightness, you know, of the whole stove, you're really gonna only want that. And at that rate, I couldn't get the pot, I couldn't get it to boil. So solid fuel was a failure. I'll put up, I'd like to see how long that Esbit cube lasted. So I will put a time up right now on the screen of how long that cube actually lasted. They're rated for 15 minutes and they're expensive. I would like to try this other solid fuel that my buddy got, Zach. I believe it's called Dragonfire. It's out of Britain. It's a British solid fuel. It's a little bigger, oval. See how that does. But as for that part of the kit, not impressed with it. Was it the solid fuel? Was it something I did? Was it the way this is designed? I don't know. Overall, the construction of this is great. You know, the handles, they're sturdy. I was able to lift this up and dump it to get the ashes out of it. The table never got hot. The ash bin itself that sits under it the whole time it was on fire never got hot, which is awesome. You know, the one thing I did notice, this is the double wall piece that goes on next. And this is your fire bin, as I'm going to call it. Obviously, stuff got discolored because the fire will do that, which is natural. But this is not as easy to go down in there. You have to really push it. So if you're going to be out on a trip and you intend on using this multiple times a day, you're going to almost want to clean the inside to a degree every time, because stuff builds up. I take it it's creosote and stuff in there. You just want to keep that in mind. Have a lot of paper towel with you. So besides that, the construction of it is amazing. I like it. I would recommend it for a twig stove. It was very easy to keep loading. What I learned is you have to shove it full of stuff and you have to keep it going. There's a couple of times during the video where it looked like it may have gone out on camera. It didn't. There was still fire inside of it. What I found is the more filled you keep it, the better the gasifier double-walled system actually works, where the flames would come out the holes, and it would actually, you could hear the water heating more rapidly. So the hotter you keep it, the better it is. And my boil time probably could improve. I would assume by maybe about a minute the next time I boil on this. So to give my review on how it actually functions as a solid fuel stove, I can tell you I'm not going to use it as a solid fuel stove. I won't. Like, I will never take this little bowl with me. This will never come with me. But as for a twig stove, I will definitely use it as a twig stove. It's easy to load. You know, it didn't use up all the wood I got. I got some pieces here left. I made the small really small, and I made my bigger pretty big, because you can actually put them in and stick them out the side here like that, which is nice as well. I think next time I use it, my take back from this is I'm going to use a little bit bigger sticks more frequently once I get it going and I have my pot on there. But as for the Tomshoo stove, very nice. From the stuff sack to the construction, the way it held up, definitely recommend it. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. We're going to have some other gear videos, and I have an overnight trip coming up this week, so you'll be seeing that. All right, thank you for watching.